The story of William Morris is one of drive and ingenuity. A vast fortune, a peerage, an automobile empire. But William Morris was more than just a great man of industry. In 1877, the age of Queen Victoria and progress, William Morris was born to a farming family on the outskirts of Oxford. The man who would become Lord Nuffield began his life in business with only £4 capital. Despite little mechanical training, Morris began designing and repairing bicycles. His business grew. Motorcycles, and soon, motor cars. Starting with the classic bullnose Morris, the Morris garage produced car after car. By the end of the 1930s, business was booming. Morris weathered world wars and economic slumps, drove down prices, and brought motoring to the common man. There is an opinion, wrote Morris, that if you only make enough of a given article, your prices will come down automatically. They won't. To get a bedrock selling price, you have to practice every sort of economy. There are no marble halls at Cowley and never will be. Not an unnecessary penny is spent on selling or publicity. Every halfpenny is put into production. William Morris earned a knighthood, then became a baron, a viscount, and finally Lord Nuffield, residing in Nuffield Place. He gave us classic Morris and MG cars, iconic, stylish and memorable. With their elegance and charm, they remain a part of Britain's cultural heritage. But there is more to Lord Nuffield's legacy than cars.
So how would you describe your great-great-uncle, Lord Nuffield, and his achievements?
I think the really interesting thing about Lord Nuffield is that you can see him in two parts. On the one hand, you have William Morris, the car manufacturer, the man that at one point was producing close to half the cars made in Britain. And then you have Lord Nuffield, this extraordinarily generous benefactor, whose legacy is still with us today in so many different forms.
Yeah. So tell us about why this campaign is so important to you.
Well, for the last 30 years, the Friends of Nuffield Place have opened this house up to the public in a very limited way. But it's this extraordinary offer from the college, a very generous offer from the college, to give the house to the National Trust that has given us the opportunity to save Nuffield Place once and for all, to secure the future of the house that was owned by Lord Nuffield, the modest millionaire.
Nuffield Place is a fascinating house. William and Elizabeth could have had any house they wanted. They had extreme wealth and they could have had a palace, a country seat, any number of properties. But they selected Nuffield Place because it really reflected the modest lifestyle that they lived. And this lifestyle is reflected right the way through the house, including the objects. The tool cupboard in William Morris's bedroom is a prime example of the day-to-day life that he lived. He was keen on tinkering with objects, mending his own clocks, and indeed did his own shoe repairs. One of the things that I find absolutely fascinating are the books and the range of books within the house. There's books on Australia showing his business interests, books on repairs, and there's even books on sportsmen of the period.
Lord Nuffield lived a plain life and gave away £30 million to charitable causes, the equivalent of £11 billion today.
Now, Lord Nuffield, I've been asked to present you with this Golden Heart Award, which I do with the very greatest pleasure, on behalf both of the Variety Club and of all the people who have benefited from your benefactions.
I can say that the presentation of this Golden Heart tonight has been such a surprise to me. And I cannot thank this convention more for the wonderful thought in presenting it to me. I wanted to be a surgeon when I was a youngster, and there was no money to be a surgeon with. So that had to go overboard. But anyway, I can only thank the Lord for that, because I think in surgery I could not have made as much money to give away anyway. And I can only promise that in the rest of my life, which at any rate can't be very long, I shall do my best to continue to help those who are less fortunate than myself.
Lord Nuffield founded Nuffield College, Oxford. It is just one of the institutions to have benefited from Lord Nuffield's generosity. At a cost of £490,000, Morris produced and donated iron lungs to every hospital in the Commonwealth.
I think it's really important to recognise Nuffield's foresight in establishing 4 clinical chairs in Oxford. Up until this point, the university taught medical students the science of medicine, but there was no clinical medical school. And Nuffield saw the opportunity of establishing a clinical medical school and proposed to the university that he would endow 4 chairs in medicine, surgery, obstetrics and gynecology, and anaesthetics. This effectively is a glorified carburettor. This is the first precision piece of anaesthetic equipment, and it allows you to control precisely the concentration of ether delivered to patients for the first time. He could see that by making anaesthesia safer, this would lead to more complex surgery and the ability to help more people.
Lord Nuffield's generosity is also remembered by motoring enthusiasts worldwide.
He supported the club in 1936 by making a donation to the club to allow them to buy quite a substantial trophy. And the trophy is known as the Nuffield Gold Cup. The sum involved there, I think back in 1936, was something like £169. £169 in those days would have bought you a Morris Minor. I think you could say that Lord Nuffield's influence has endured throughout the years, and has touched many lives.
One of the great contradictions of Nuffield Place is the fact that William Morris was a great philanthropist and gave away lots of money to support others, but never thought about his own legacy and how he would be regarded in the future. And this is our opportunity to put this right.
We want to save Nuffield Place for the nation and celebrate the extraordinary legacy that was William Morris, but we need your help to do that. We need to raise £3.3 million to be able to secure the future of this property. However, we know that that's an enormous amount of money. So we need to start somewhere, and we need to get the doors open. We need to raise £600,000 to be able to achieve this over the next year. If you'd like to help with this appeal, then please visit our website www.nationaltrust.org.uk/Save Nuffield Place. The appeal to save this house is both locally and nationally important, and we're delighted that we've got this challenge, but we need your help to save Nuffield Place.
He started off making bicycles and grew the business in an extraordinary way. I've lost it. Went off on one.
Mend his own
The extraordinary legacy. That was my stomach. You didn't say.
What did I not say?
Right, you said right.
What did I miss? So you're nearly right.
No, we did it. We really got. This house is both locally and nationally important. That's flipping heck.
Lord Nuffield, the modest millionaire.
Perfect. Bagged. That is perfect. Thank you. We got there in the end.
Ha!